First of all, Liz Peek, Scott Martin, Susan Lee, Ashley Webster, all on the show this morning. I'll start with you, Scott. Is it all boiling down to this? No action, nothing being done in Washington, and no good news on China trade. Is that why we're down?
I think that's about right, Stuart. Also, the fact is, as you and Gary Kalpam had mentioned earlier today, the fact the market's had a nice run this year, so some backfilling is probably due. The thing in D.C., though, is interesting. It's not maybe so much the no action yet, because we do have some promise of maybe something happening in late June with the G20 in Japan. I think it's the messaging, Stuart. I think the messaging from the administration, with all due respect to them, is a little off. Steve Mnuchin and others talking about no impact from the tariffs. We've seen the pain the farmers are feeling with some of Jeff Flock's reports yesterday. I think that, say, detachment from reality that the administration seems to have is what's bothering the markets right now.
All right, we'll take that under advisement. We've got a couple of very bearish analyst calls on Tesla. Yeah. Gene Munster warned that the company won't meet its delivery targets. Citi says the stock could drop to $36 a share. Okay, now the stock has recovered from earlier losses, but it's still at $193. Back to you again, Scott. Is this end game for Tesla?
No, I don't think it's end game. I think it's rough game going here for a little while. But let's face it, we've talked about this before. I mean, Elon Musk is not a good CEO. He's a good innovator. They've had a lot of piling on now from analysts and so forth about these price cuts, if you will. I mean, some of these are crazy, though. I mean, some of these analysts are cutting estimates from 350 to 240 to 120 to 50. I mean, things are getting a little bit out of control. Because Tesla still, to me, is a technology company and always has been. And some of the IP, some of the ingenuity that they have is worth something. And whether it merges with his space company or some other companies that might be interested in what they have, I think that's probably the end game for Tesla, which might not be where people think it's going, which is, those low single digits or whatever.
All right, by the way, everyone, Gene Munster, who made that call on future production of Tesla, he's on the show this morning, 11 o'clock on this program. I need to get to retail, look at Victoria's Secret parent, L Brands. That stock's up after reporting higher profits. Nice 6% gain there. Best Buy, higher sales, solid forecast, but the company's CEO says tariffs will lead to price increases. Liz, what do you say?
Well, look, they're all talking about tariffs being a big problem down the road. Target was one of the few companies that did not cite that. They didn't change their forward guidance. But the answer is this is obviously weighing on these retailers, and it's icing on the cake. I mean, they already have problems. This is more of it.
Yeah, and to Liz's point, on the one hand, you have some retailers doing well. I say that in jest. Some retailers have done okay in the first quarter, but more stores have closed their doors for good this year than all of last year, and it's still only May.
And it's also about e-commerce as well. We were talking about this. Absolutely. There are winners, there are losers. The winners are Target and Walmart that have figured out if you have bricks and mortars, pick up delivery is working.
And the interesting thing is it's not the consumer. Sales are actually up. If you combine March and April, the numbers were not bad at all. Spending is okay.
Retail sales have been down 2 out of the 3 months to start off this year. And so I guess we were wondering when that would show up.
What we're really talking about here is the downside effect of China tariffs. How bad's it going to be? You don't tell me that there's no impact whatsoever.
I think the longer it goes on, clearly the worse it's going to be.
I think you're right. Quick word from you, please, Scott.
Yeah, the hiring side, too, is interesting, Stuart. That's been a little bit of a canary in the coal mine in the sense of, like, retail hiring, because we look at job reports a lot to figure out, what sectors are hot or not. And retail hiring has been terrible the last few months so far this year. So that's something that's showing, to your point, Stuart, about the impact of the tariffs, right? So you cut workers and you raise prices, and that's how you fight those things.
Okay, quicker check of the big board. This is the low of the morning. Now, we're only 5 minutes into the session, but we're down 287 points as we speak. That puts us at 25,400. Better take a look at Apple. UBS cut its price target from $235 to $225. They cut their iPhone forecast and they blame weak demand from China. The stock now $179, $3 down. Hormel, spam people, okay? They cut their forecast. The CEO says prices are going up because of loss of hogs in China. That country dealing with swine fever outbreak there. Hormel down 5%. Shoe Carnival, their sales fell short. There's another retailer down just a fraction, actually, but just a fraction down. Check the price of oil. Where are we this morning? We've been around, whoa,
big time.
Below $60 a barrel. That speaks to me about a slowing world economy.
Correct.
Pressure on America's economy, pressure from tariffs, pressure from trade, $59 a barrel on crude. The price of gold, I've no idea. Where is it? Up $5 at $12.80. Not much moving gold recently. No. Facebook says it stopped paying commissions to employees who sell political ads. Is this a big deal?
Yeah, it is a big deal because of the, the PR smear from 2016. So this used to be a growth outlet for Facebook, and now they're backing away from this. I was taking a look at some of the numbers, especially when it comes to political advertising. Did you know it's going to jump to over $3 billion for the 2020 campaign? Really? Yes, and even, Brad Parscale, who's the head of the Trump re-election campaign, they're going to spend $1 billion on that in the run-up to 2020. But as for Facebook itself, just a small sliver of the $55 billion that they bring in revenue. So, let's back away from that if it's not making that much money for you. And there's a big, by the way, shall we say, downfall when it comes to
But
PR.
if they can, right? Because any kind of opinion piece can be read as political advertising.
That's
and some
true.
of the stuff that was done in Europe was really not direct political advertising.
Yeah.
It was influence generating kind of commentary. And so I don't really know how they kind of get away with that.
Well, they used to also embed staffers in presidential campings like in 2016. So they're going to end that. That is stopping. So that's a very obvious piece of not, politicizing.
Facebook people, shareholders, it's at 183 as we speak. Amazon. Jeff Bezos blew off a shareholder proposal to reduce drastically the company's carbon footprints.
Yeah.
Is this, Scott, is this Bezos saying he's going to run the company any way he wants to? That's what he's saying, really, isn't it?
That's what I'm feeling, and he has been, so more power to him. And I think we could all agree that we should let him. I mean, he's been doing it the right way, even, back to the days when they were losing tons of money and, doing billions of dollars in sales and losing billions of dollars in net profit. So, look, let Jeff Bezos do what he needs to do. We own Amazon, and in Bezos, I trust.
But I think Amazon is very worried about being accused of degradation of the environment because of all those boxes piling up on people's porches. They know that this is a threat, and I'm not surprised that he did not want this to become a major talking point at a shareholder annual meeting and did everything he could to suppress this discussion because it's a real problem for them.
I think they blew off all the suggestions from individual shareholders.
That's not too surprising. Most of them were probably wackadoodle
And
suggestions.
facial recognition as well. They will continue to work with governments around the world with that.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, we've got a new low for the Dow just at us right now. We're off at 319 points as we speak. It's a big decline. That's 1.25% down for the Dow Industrials.
Can I also note that Monday is a holiday here in the U.S. and typically for long weekends, you really don't want to hold that much risk, especially when there are uncertain
Could be a bad end of the week.
Details when it comes to U.S.-China trade. So, people are just taking money off the table.
You could also have the president come out on Friday or Saturday or even Sunday with a tweet about, can't wait to sit together with President Xi, and all these people selling are going to look pretty silly.
Yeah, but Scott, do you think we're on there's some momentum here for the downside and this week will end badly? You feel that way?
It feels like that, Stuart, just because of the fact that I think there's still some pretty, let's say, hard longs out there with respect to folks that wanted to hang on through this downturn and maybe just can't take it anymore. I mean, we haven't seen that much of a pullback. I don't think it's anything tremendous to worry about other than the sense that we're going to see some backfilling here. So, yes, I think into the weekend, especially given it's a long one, you could see some selling accelerate.
Okay, now here is what may be the shape of things to come. Ford Motor Company teaming up with another on a robot that delivers packages to your door after getting out of a self-driving car.
Yeah.
In other words, the self-driving car draws up to your house, there's the robot, comes out the back, picks up the package, toddles across to your front doorway, and bingo, the robot leaves the package.
Robot's called Digit.
Is it?
Yes. But they reckon they're going to...
made that up.
No, I did not. I'm not that clever. Hey, listen, they're going to have 100 of these by early next year. They're going to try them out. At first, it's a parcel delivery service. Amazon's going to drop them from the air using drones. This one brings them to your front door. It's a bit creepy looking, to say the least. But they could end up actually
automation.
Carrying groceries as well as parcels.
But automation, people losing their jobs, and U.S. Postal Service workers should be concerned, especially when the U.S. Postal Service has been losing about $43 billion over the past decade.
This is one thing, though, that I can see happening.
Yeah, and it's
I can see
inevitable.
that.
It's
Yeah.
inevitable. I mean, there's a worker shortage, so what do we think? Who's going to be delivering those packages?
Digit's
the
gonna be
question
doing
is,
it.
can they read your emotions? That's, I think, the incredible. You know, are you going to be happy getting the package, and will they report that back to Amazon? I think it's great.
That would look weird at night.
Downloaded.
9:40 Eastern Time this Thursday morning. I have to say thank you very much indeed to Liz and Scott. Good stuff. Now